Greetings and salutations. Charlton 66 here once again to discuss comic books and other things related to comics. Um, just wanted to say again, like I do with all my videos, of all the comments and positive suggestions and things of, words of encouragement. I do appreciate everything everyone says. I read every comment and I reply to them. Again, I do appreciate that. It shows, at least I'm doing something right with this. And I just don't want to be here, like I said before, just rambling on about things that no one finds of interest. So without further ado, one of the subscribers that I have, Paulo Costa, he had asked about if I have any Charlton hot rod comics. I do have a bunch of them, but I'm going to do a whole video at some point about all the different issues and all the different titles that Charlton had concerning racing cars and hot rods. I am going to show a few now. Some of kind of not really important, but kind of oddball enough where it's not even listed in the guide, the price guide, which I think they should be listed, because I think a lot more attention should be given to some of these hot rod comics, particularly some of the ones that discuss current cars that are now considered classic cars now. Here's the first issue from Charlton of Hot Rods and Racing Cars, the first issue here, which is really cool. It has an Indianapolis 500 story in it. That's my home city, so that's kind of cool to have. First issue in an Indianapolis 500 story. The price guide doesn't list that as one of the features of this particular issue. But what I find more fascinating is later on with this issue, number 34 from 1958. Again, it's a 68-page giant, 15-cent issue. It's talking about, here on the cover, they looked at doing the history and looking back at the Plymouth Fury, which I think is kind of cool. And inside is kind of like a tech manual on the inside of the comic book, talking about the Plymouth Fury, which I think is kind of cool. Again, this is number 34. If anyone is interested in it. This has a lot of merit, I think. It's not even listed in guide, in the price guide of being a special issue, but here they're talking about the 58 Vet, which I think is kind of cool. Again, this is 36 from 1958. So the Vet just came out, and here we are, have Charlton talking about it in one of their comics. I believe this is an ongoing feature that Charlton has, because of the next issue, not in the next issue, but the next issue that I'm going to show. But this is number 37 from 58, continuing our economy reports, the 58 Volkswagen. So other issues talk about other cars in the issue, but this particular issue has the specs and the text information on the 58 Volkswagen. This is number 37 from 1958. And Paulo talked about Jack Keller, who did a lot of artwork for some of these racing comics. Of course, he's known for some of the Marvel Westerns in the 60s and 70s. Really an unsung artist from the Silver and Bronze Age was Jack Keller. He did this cover and a feature inside. This is Surfing Wheels number 1. Again, a very oddball comic book, I think, combining the beach and the surf with hot rodders is not that far-fetched, but anyway, Surfing Wheels, number 1. Jack Keller did the cover, and I believe one of the features inside of this issue. Again, like I said, I'll do another video on more of the hot rod comics and some of the oddball stuff that they presented within those pages of hot rodders and gangs on motorcycles and stuff. But on to some more Charlton goodness. We know the passing of Martin Landau not too long ago, and of course everyone remembers him not only just from the Ed Wood movie playing Bela Lugosi, but from Space 1999, which I loved as a kid, still do. People thought it was a rip-off of Star Trek. It got some negative reviews because of that, but it's far removed from Star Trek. I mean, they're on the moon, which was ripped from the Earth's orbit, and it's out on its own, drifting through space. So that's, I don't know how they say that's like Star Trek, but some people did. Anyway, here's the first issue from Charlton, the magazine, black and white magazine, which I think is just a phenomenal series. It ran only 8 issues. The art directing was by Greg Morrow, which everyone knows what a phenomenal artist he was. He did all the covers, great, gorgeous painted covers, and he also did not most of the stories, but each issue had about 3 stories each, and he mostly did at least one of the stories in almost every issue. There's also a story by Dick Ayers. There's also a story by Carl Potts, which is one of his earlier works before he went to Marvel and DC. And Vincent Alcazar did stories in these as well. And it has, like I said, 3 features along with text pieces and issues and pictures and backstory of the TV show. But again, here's the first issue. Beautiful painted cover by Greg Morrow. Number 2, I think he captured Barbara Bain and Martin Landau perfectly on these covers. Just great covers. Here's one of my favorites right here. It shows the suits and the weapons and the tech of Space 1999. Love it. And the artwork is really good inside. It really draw the eagles really well, and the moon base and the weapons and the suits and everything that has to do with the TV show. If you love the TV show or you like it in any form or fashion, you'll love this comic book series. And again, here's number 4, and again capturing Martin Landau really, really well. Number 5. Again, another great cover by Greg Morrow. Number 6. Again, like I said, excellent features. Stories are really good in it. Artwork is nice. You won't be disappointed in picking these up. There's not really a continuity to it other than the characters and stuff reoccurring, but you can pick up an issue and it's all into itself. Number 7. And last but not least, the last issue, number 8. Beautiful cover. Again, like I said, it's a really fun series. You won't be disappointed. Charlton, like they did with the color comics, did really well with it. Although some of the earlier issues will have like a photograph pasted over the artwork, like they wanted, like the producers of the TV show wanted to make sure that Greg Morrow got the features right of the actors. So there's actually, it looks like photographs were pasted over the artwork, which is kind of shocking, but it only happened, I think, in the first issue. Then the rest of the stuff is line drawn by the comic artist, but they wanted to make sure they got those features right of the main actors. And onward to something really bizarre, oddball stuff, which was from Skywald, which put out some really weird stuff, which is Hell Rider. First issue, Hell Rider. This only was a 2-issue series, and I believe issue 3 was solicited but never did come out. Number 1 of Hell Rider. What does it say here at the top? Ride on with the now superhero, Hell Rider. That's from Skywald, and another Skywald number 1 is Crime Machine, which is bizarre enough, the cover, but the price guide, the Overstreet price guide, actually lists this as a bikini girl and giant cake cover, something to that effect. But it's kind of a bizarre listing. I didn't know that was a thing for covers, is bikini girl coming out of a cake, but it's listed there. And all this really is, there's nothing original in this. It's all reprints, pre-code, gangster and crime comics, and there's no reference to where they come from. So I have no idea to even begin to tell you where some of the stuff was reprinted from. There's not even, I don't think there's even an artist credit in this. Just packaged together a bunch of reprints. It's still cool to have in your collection, but don't go out and and spend the big bucks. Not really big bucks. You probably find this around I see anywhere between $40 to $90, depending what the condition is. But don't expect anything new in it or as violent as the cover is. It's just gangster and crime comics reprinted here. And some other Charlton monster magazines. Mad Monster with the painted cover by Steve Ditko, which I believe I've never seen a painted anything by Steve Ditko, so it's kind of unusual. Unfortunately, I've got a condition issue right here. The magazine's really nice except for this right here. But yeah, it's a painted cover. I've never seen Steve Ditko paint another cover before. So again, I'm no expert on Steve Ditko or his body of work, but I've never seen a painted cover before by him. Again, we have Conga, picture by picture preview of Conga and Reptilicus, right in this issue. And another first issue from Charlton called Horror Monsters. It's got features. I have a handful of these. They're really hard to find in any type of relatively decent condition. Like I said, I have a handful, and really what this has in it is just some features about horror monsters, black and white, horror movies, creatures, monsters, but there's also stills from horror movies where they have gags and supposed jokes that's supposed to be funny with those. But again, if you're a horror fan, collect comic magazines or Charlton, these are worth getting. They're just hard to find any type of decent shape. But that's it for right now. Again, thanks everyone for viewing and subscribing. Thanks for the comments, and I do appreciate what everybody has to say. And I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Have a good night.